I love a good thriller. That already sounds very intriguing. I feel like this might be like a cozy, mystical fantasy. Oh my gosh, that's heavy. Hello, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about 10 books that have been on my TBR for quite some time and that I am most excited to read according to my mood right now because I'm such a mood reader. So this could change, but these have consistently been on my mind and I've been wanting to read them for the longest time. And some of them have movie adaptations coming out or TV show adaptations coming out. So I want to read those before I go watch the movie and kind of compare the two, see how the book differs from the movie or the show. And we have quite a variety of genres here. We have everything from fantasy to fiction to thrillers to romantasy. I think there might be a romance in there somewhere. Without further ado, let's talk about these 10 books. And these are in no particular order. First up, we have Alex Astor's newest book and her first adult fantasy book called Starside. Alex Astor is the author of the Lightlark series and I have read the first two. I still need to read the third one, and then I also have the Grimm versus Oro book that I need to read, and they're on my shelf right now staring at me like you need to read me. I have heard so much about this book since it came out, and it literally just came out maybe a month ago, and everyone said it's amazing and they can't wait for the second one to come out. And it's so pretty. I love the sprayed edges on this book, and in the inside there is a map. Love a good map. And that is the cover. It says, "Enter the enchanting and daily world of Starside, where swords have magic and power isn't inherited, it's claimed." This book takes place in Starside. It is a realm of magic. There is magic, but there are also mortals who do not have magic. And the mortals are always trying to fight for scraps of magic. Like any kind of magic they can get their hands on, they want it. Every 50 years, there is a challenge that takes place that allows the mortals to go and compete for magic. And then we have Eris, who wants to enter this competition to seek vengeance on the gods who killed her family. She was a blacksmith's apprentice, but she never had access to the greatest weapons out there. But then she claims a sword, and the sword is so great that it makes her a target. So she cannot trust anyone, especially Harlan Raker. And Harlan Raker is a knight who betrayed her years ago. They had crossed paths, supposedly, in the past, and now she's going to have to learn how to trust him if she wants to survive and hopefully win this challenge. I'm seeing an enemies to lovers romantasy vibe in this book with lots of action and magic. I have a feeling this is going to be very good, and I'm excited to read this one. I'm really excited for this next book because there is a series coming out, The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hilderbrand. This is supposed to come out on Peacock on July the 9th. I think it was the 16th and it got moved to July 9th according to my research. So I'm very excited to watch that and very excited to read this. I have read a couple of Ellen Hilderbrand's books and I have enjoyed each of them. I read The Academy, which was also co-written with her daughter. That was really good. And I also read The Perfect Couple and I enjoyed that book too. So I'm excited to read this one, and summer is right around the corner. So I feel like this is the perfect time to read this because based on the cover, it seems like this is going to take place in summer, and I think on Nantucket Island, which is where a lot of her books take place. And this book follows a woman named Hollis who lost her husband in a car accident after an argument that they had. And so she has been dealing with all this grief of the loss of her husband, and then she sees like this advertisement for a 5-star weekend getaway, and what that entails is you get a best friend from each era of your life, like your childhood, your teen years, your 20s, 30s, 40s, and so forth and so on, and spend a 5-star weekend together. So she gathers up her friends from each phase of her life, and there's some drama that's going to ensue, which I wouldn't expect anything less based on a couple of the books I've read by Ellen Hilderbrand. So I feel like that's going to be very good. Like I think there's gonna be drama between the friends, and then one of the friends' husband is trying to set up a way that Hollis's first love or whatever shows up, so that's going to be a whole other thing. And I think one of the friends' husbands is having an affair with a woman at his workplace, so there's like all this drama that's going on in the friends' separate lives, and then I think it's all going to kind of just explode on each other. I'm really looking forward to reading this and watching the TV series. Next up, I have my local book club's book choice for April, and I really need to get on it because time is winding down, so I really need to read this before we meet and talk about it. But it's Anxious People by Frederick Bachman, and I have read a couple of Frederick Bachman's books, Beartown, My Friends. I think that one was a book club choice too. I thoroughly enjoyed those books, so I'm really excited to read this one, and it sounds so good. And supposedly it is a TV series on Netflix, but I haven't watched it yet. It starts out with this apartment open house, and then a bank robber bursts in and takes a group of strangers hostage, and each of these strangers are dealing with their own grief and their own difficulties and their own struggles in life, and they each have their own secrets. But as time goes on, these hostages start to realize, like, maybe this bank robber needs more help than we do, and there's going to be allies formed, there's going to be secrets that spill. I think there's going to be a lot of drama and intense situations unfold in this book. It just sounds so good, and I'm so excited to read this one. Next up, we have Into the Blue by Emma Brody. This book is starting to take the book community on the internet by a storm right now. I've been seeing tons of people talking about this book or excited to read this book like I am. It takes place in the summer of 2000, so very nostalgic. And you have AJ, who is working in a video rental store. Gosh, I miss those. Those are the days. And all she's wanted to do in her life is write for Saturday Night Live, but instead she's stuck working in this video store. Well, then one day a very well-known actor named Noah Drew walks in, and they become friends and acting partners. But then Noah disappears one day, just out of nowhere, just up and goes. Well, 7 years later, AJ is cast into this intergalactic TV adaptation or production in New York City, and guess who's cast with her? Noah Drew. They play these characters who grow closer to each other every day, and then lines start to get blurred. So they're having a difficult time telling what's real from what's acting. And then they're forced to kind of figure out like what happened the 7 years ago when he just up and left. This sounds good. I've heard very good things about it. Everyone who's read this so far, I have seen good reviews. I'm excited to read it. And it was a Reese's Book Club book, so I'm really excited. And supposedly this is a love story, so this is a romance. And it's really pretty. I love the cover. Very vibrant. Okay, next up we have a thriller, My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. And I have heard mixed reviews, but mostly good on this book. I love a good thriller. I love Alice Feeney. I love Frida McFadden. I'm excited to read this. It says one house, one husband, two women, someone is lying. That already sounds very intriguing. It says Eden Fox, an artist on the brink of her big break, sets off for a run before her first exhibition. When she returns to the home she recently moved into, Spyglass, an enchanting old house in Hope Falls, nothing is as it should be. Her key doesn't fit. A woman eerily similar to her enters the door, and her husband insists the stranger is his wife. 6 months earlier, a reclusive Londoner called Birdie, reeling from a life-changing diagnosis, inherits Spyglass. This unexpected gift from a long-lost grandmother brings her to the pretty seaside village of Hope Falls. But then Birdie stumbles upon a shadowy clinic that claims to be able to predict a person's date of death, including her own. Secrets start to unravel, and as the line between truth and lie blurs, Birdie feels compelled to right some old wrongs. My Husband's Wife is a tangled web of deception, obsession, and mystery that will keep you guessing until the last page. Prepare yourself for the ultimate mind-bending marriage thriller and step inside Spyglass if you dare to experience a story where nothing is as it seems. Like, I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on one house, one husband, two women. I'm still stuck on this lady who looks like her and he claims to be his wife. Like, that's going to be intense, I have a feeling. Really excited to read this. Next up, we have Watermoon by Samantha Sato Yambo. Hopefully I said that correctly, and I'm so sorry if I didn't. I feel like this is going to be like magical realism / fantasy. The back, it says a woman inherits a pawn shop where you can sell your regrets and then embarks on a magical journey when a charming young physicist wanders into the shop in this dreamlike fantasy novel. I feel like this might be like a cozy mystical fantasy. It says on a back street in Tokyo lies a pawn shop, but not everyone can find it. Most will see a cozy ramen restaurant, and only the chosen ones, those who are lost, will find a place to pawn their life choices and deepest regrets. Hana Ishikawa wakes on her first morning as the pawn shop's new owner to find it ransacked, the shop's most precious acquisition stolen, and her father missing. And then into the shop stumbles a charming stranger, quite unlike its other customers, for he offers help instead of seeking it. Together they must journey through a mystical world to find Hannah's father, and the stolen chance, by way of rain puddles, rides on paper cranes, the bridge between midnight and morning, and a night market in the clouds. But as they get closer to the truth, Hannah must reveal a secret of her own and risk making a choice that she will never be able to take back. That sounds cute and mystical. So they're going to ride on a paper crane. Oh, and that must be the night market in the clouds. Oh, I love that cover. It's so pretty. Can't wait to read that one. Next up, I have Daggermouth by H.M. Wolf. I just picked this up on my last book shopping trip. It's actually been on my list for a little bit, so I decided to go ahead and pick it up. On the back, it says, the first thing you'll learn in Newfound Haven is mercy no longer exists. Showing mercy is a weakness, and weakness will get you killed. The second thing is this. The Vaira are always watching. From the highest glass atrium in the heart to the windowless slum dens of the boundary, no movement goes unseen. The last lesson is the hardest, but you must remember it. Love outside of your ring is a death sentence. The city is carved into rings of privilege and poverty, ruled by the masked elite who will do whatever it takes to hold on to power. Obedience is demanded, rebellion is crushed. Grayson Serrell has spent his life caught between two worlds. Publicly, he's the flawless heir to the presidency. Privately, he's entangled in secrets that could topple the regime. But when he's forced into a political marriage meant to bind him tighter to the government's brutal laws, he finds himself shackled to a bride who is as lethal as she is unwilling. Shadera is a mercenary raised to kill, not to wed. Yet when her bullet misses its mark, survival leaves her bound to the very man she was sent to eliminate. Trapped inside the corrupt heart of the city, she becomes both prisoner and wife. Her every step watched, her every move tested. Their union is no love story, it's a battlefield. I love that line. As secrets come to light and betrayals fester within the walls of power, Grayson and Shadera must decide between annihilating one another or burning the city to the ground together. In a world where passion sparks rebellion and loyalty is paid for in blood, their forced bond may be the spark that ignites a revolution, or the fire that consumes them both. Next up, I have The Devil Wears Prada by Lauren Weisberger, and I just watched this movie about a month ago, and I loved it. I never watched it before. I absolutely adored it, and I want to read this book. Well, the movie is based off of this book. There's also a second one, and then there's a second movie that is actually coming out tonight, but it's not based on the second book. It's kind of its own thing, but still, I want to read this, and I'm really excited for it. I even have a sweatshirt, like a Devil Wears Prada sweatshirt that I want to wear. It's about the world of fashion, climbing your way to the top, and it's just awesome. And it follows a woman named Andrea Sachs. She is a small town girl fresh out of college, and she lands this job at a very prominent, well-known fashion magazine, and she is hired as the assistant to Miranda Priestley, who is a very tough, high-profile, amazingly successful editor of this magazine. Every girl wants this job that Andrea has gotten, but for some reason, like, she doesn't really have the experience. At least in the movie, she didn't have the experience. But Miranda saw something in her and hired her on. And she just demands, gives Andrea all these seemingly impossible tasks to complete, and like run here and run there and do this and do that. She is tested every single day, but she puts up with it because she wants a recommendation from Miranda whenever she decides to move on and seek a job at any magazine of her choosing. And she has to figure out if this job is worth it or not. I watched the movie, I loved it. I want to read this, and I want to go watch the second movie, and I can't wait. Next up, we have Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. This is a fantasy, I think maybe a romantasy, and I've also heard good things about this of the people that I've seen talking about it. On the back, it says, being the sparrow isn't an honor, it's a trap. It says, if you're not terrified, you're doing it wrong. Long ago, the gods unleashed monsters upon the 5 kingdoms of Calandra to remind us that humans are insignificant, that we must pray to the gods for mercy throughout our fragile, fleeting lives. I didn't need a deity to remind me I was powerless. Being a princess had never been more than a performance. 23 years of empty titles and hollow traditions. My sister revels in the spectacle, basking in the attention and flawlessly playing her part. I was never asked to be part of the charade. Until the day an infamous monster hunter sailed to our shores. The day a prince walked into my father's throne room and ruined my life. The day I married a stranger, signed a magical treaty in blood, and set off across the continent to the most treacherous kingdom in all the realm. That was the day I learned that not all myths are make-believe, that lies and legends are often the same, and that the only way to kill the monsters we fear was to become one. I'm sensing another enemies to lovers. And another map. I love a map. Nice. Can't wait to read it. It's pretty too. I think there's a second one out, or a second one's coming out. I feel like this is going to be really good. And the last book that I've been wanting to read is a book that I have already read, but it's been years ago. And there is going to be a TV adaptation coming up on May 13th on Amazon Prime, and it's the Off Campus series by Elle Kennedy. And I am going to read The Deal, which is the first book, and I think is going to be the first season of the show. And I read this several years ago. I don't even know how many years ago it was, probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and I did not pick up the series again. I'm going to reread this and refresh myself on the storyline and then watch the TV show. So it's about this girl named Hannah Wells, and she ends up tutoring like the best hockey player in college, Garrett Graham, because his GPA is like very, very bad and he needs to keep his grades up if he is going to succeed in becoming a professional hockey player. I think they end up falling for each other if I remember correctly. So she's like a very studious and he's very into the athletics. I think this will be cute and good and I'm excited to read it too. And I'm excited to watch the TV series. Oh my gosh, that's heavy. These are the 10 books that have been on my radar for quite some time. A lot of them are becoming movies or TV series and I can't wait to read them and watch the show or movie. And a lot of them are hot right now that everyone's talking about and that I've heard really nothing but good out of most of these. And like I said, I am a mood reader. That's why I don't do monthly TBRs anymore, because I can never stick to them because my mood changes. My mood might change on these, but these are on my radar and these have consistently been on my radar. I feel like I will tackle these fairly soon. So let me know if you've read any of these books or if they are also on your TBR, and be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more bookish content. I have very many video ideas planned. I have several reading vlogs planned. It's gonna be great. So thank you so much for watching the video and I will see you in the next one.